Grace Hinman, and I'm going to present some information to you here tonight. I want to pose a question to you first. Who is most concerned for a child's welfare, and who can care better for the child than their own God-given parent? Children are nurtured best and thrive to greater heights when they're cared for by those that care most for them. I am here today to talk about the issue of mothers staying home longer with their young children. I'm in support of this, and I'm going to convince you today that children, parents, families as a whole, and society benefit when parents stay home and are the primary caregivers for younger children longer, as opposed to placing them in someone else's care at a young age. I myself am a homeschool mother of 5. Throughout my life, I've worked with children and parents in daycare, church, and homeschool co-op settings. I've also done some research on the benefits of children being primarily cared for by their parent versus being cared for by others. Parents are my key target here because they are in the best position to make decisions which benefit their children. Employers also are a target for this information because they're capable of assisting parents in their decision to stay home for longer time periods with their young children. Over the last several years, societal expectations have changed for the family. Status and equal rights for women have evolved over the last several years, as well as financial pressure that's been placed on families, forcing both parents to seek employment, therefore leaving their children in the care of others. These others do not care as much for the children, and at times do not have the best interest of the children in mind. The decision of parents to leave their children in the care of others has and will continue to produce negative effects on society. There is a high cost to having a job. There's income, but there's also a cost. A lot of times people don't figure in the transportation costs that come with getting to a job, clothing or uniforms that go along with it. Child care is a high percentage of a family's income. Convenience food or eating out, because there's not as much time to prepare meals that are as healthy, is a high cost for a family when both parents work. Medical expenses often increase when both parents work because kids are exposed to more contagious illnesses and bring them home to the family. And so these factors need to be considered when both parents decide to work outside the home and leave the children with others. There's also psychological costs imposed on parents and children. Children are frequently taken care of, but not being cared for. When emotional needs are met in young children, they become more stable contributors to society. If these needs are not met, it can often lead to antisocial behavior in young children, which later on often develops into depression. Self-esteem is not as strong and developed when children are taken out of the home at a young age. Educational professional Dr. Moore has done lots of studies in these areas and states that character formation and family bonding is essential in the first few years of life. The psychological cost to the parent involves oftentimes guilt and regret for leaving their children in the care of others and not spending as much time with them as they could. There's also a developmental cost to the children. Studies have shown that children need a warm and continual relationship with their parents to thrive, and that their brains grow new structures in response to love and caring firmness in their first 2 years of life. Without this relationship, they often become disruptive and exhibit behavior problems as they develop. It's been shown that children often also become disrespectful and irresponsible members of society later in life. Children often do not do as well in school when their mothers return to work within the first year of life, and this has been shown by studies that have been done. Thankfully, it doesn't have to be this way. Parents can plan and purpose to stay at home with their children at least until they are school aged. They need to make this a priority. Employers should make it easier for mothers to stay home after giving birth by increasing the time of their maternity leave, or at least holding their position for a longer time until they are able to come back to work. The government can assist as well, and our legislators, in my opinion, they should not be instituting free child care in the guise of educational programs for preschool age children. This presents a temptation for parents to accept the free child care so they can go on to work, but it's not in the best interest of the child. And it ends up in the long run being quite costly for everyone. Though I am very much in support of parents taking care of and raising their own children as long as possible, and as you can see, the benefits to individuals and society as a whole of the parent taking a few years out of the workforce to care for their own children are immeasurable. There are no regrets to the decision to invest time in the welfare of your own children. Parents only have one opportunity to raise their children. It's truly an on-the-job experience, and there's no trial run, and there are no retakes, and there are no do-overs. So today, I'm asking you as parents to make a commitment and sacrifice to stay with your children as their primary caretaker for their benefit and for the benefit of society as a whole. And I quote Barbara Whitley, an About.com family expert, "Children are an investment. It is up to the individual as to what they want to do with their children. We only have them for a short while, and it's worth the extra work." Thank you.
Let's do it, Daryl. Let's stay home with our children.